Hello, this is Stephen Malone with ComposFX. Hope you're doing well today and you're getting some good trades. One of the questions I'm often asked by traders that use the DOTS method indicator is, will the DOTS method work on other financial instruments shown in the MetaTrader 4 Market Watch window? And the simple answer is yes, except for a couple of caveats. And I want to talk about that in today's video. Now, I'm on one of the US MetaTrader 4 platforms, and you can see that there's multiple currency pairs here and a couple of other things like gold versus the dollar or silver versus the dollar. And then you have some crosses that we typically don't trade. So let me walk you through what should appear on the chart here. Here we have the dollar yen, one of the basic currency pairs, and we do have the DOTS levels shown based upon the New York Open. And here is gold versus the dollar today based upon the New York Open. Here's oil versus the dollar. Again, the DOTS levels plotted today. A lot of movement up and down is seen today. And then here's the dollar versus the Singapore dollar. And you can see the DOTS levels applied to it as well. Now, from time to time, depending upon the MetaTrader 4 platform that you're using, and there's all sorts of MetaTrader 4 platforms around the globe, you have, in some instances, when we look at a European platform or an Asian platform, in some cases you're going to find that these platforms have some different exotic pairs, or they might even have some indices or a new instrument known as CFDs. Now, in this case here we have the Singapore dollar versus the yen, and again the DOTS levels seem to be working just fine. Now, in this case, too, I've just applied the DAX 30. This is an indice, and applied that to the chart, and again, the DOTS levels work. And this one being the FTSE 100 out of London. Again, the DOTS levels, apply it to this instrument, it works. Now, in some cases, though, based on some platforms, and here's another platform where we also have the DAX 30. It's named a little bit different here. But if you'll notice here that this is a situation where going back to March the 3rd, the DOTS levels have not updated. And we look at the FTSE, which we just looked at on another platform, and it too has not updated the DOTS levels since March the 3rd. So what's the deal? Why are these DOTS levels not working like we saw on the other platform? The other platform shows up just fine. But this platform over here, it's not working appropriately. Now, long story short, majority of the time when the DOTS levels are not showing appropriately on a chart, it's a lot to do with the historical data. Either the broker doesn't provide the correct data or enough data, and in some instances, the timing of that data is off. MetaTrader 4 is based upon 15-minute clock or a 5-minute clock. So it looks for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and so forth on a 5-minute basis. On a 15-minute clock, it looks for a 0, 15, 30, and 45. On a 30-minute clock, MetaTrader 4 looks for a 0 and a 30. So when we take a look at this particular platform, and I'll open up the History Center, we can see that in the case of the 30-minute on the DAX, look at this situation. In this case, we have, starting today, 100 hours, but look at these times back here. Notice how they're all off? There's not a 0 and a 30. In this case, there was a 35 and then a 0. And in most of these, you can see it's 1710 to 1740. 1810 to 1840. MetaTrader 4 does not recognize that particular time frame on a 30-minute chart. Now, if we take a look at, let's say on the UK here, we have an hourly chart. Let's take it down to the 15-minute chart. Let me just show you that, again, the 15-minute levels, those levels are for the entire week going back. So let's take a look at what we have here. Tools, History Center, and this time let me scroll down and find the FTSE 100. There it is. We'll go to that 15-minute chart and notice that this too. Notice how the times are off. Now we do have a 0 up here, but notice how majority of these are not set to a 0, 15, 30, and 45. The time settings are off. Now on the hourly chart, if I go to the hourly chart, notice that the hourly times, they're off as well. So that's why our hourly chart and our 15-minute chart, the dots levels are not showing up correctly or updating. So again, long story short, the majority of issues that I run into from various clients and customers of the DOTS method indicator, the majority of it stems from historical data. Either you don't have enough historical data, missing historical data, or the timing of that data is off. So again, check with your MetaTrader 4 broker and check their data that it is adequate amount of data and that the time setting for the data points matches to what MetaTrader 4 is using. Well, this is Dean Malone with CompussFX. Hope some of the information here about checking your historical data and the timing on your historical data will help you understand why the DOTS levels may not be plotting correctly on your charts. Well, this is Dean Malone with CompussFX. Y'all make it a great day. Get some good trades. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.